Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm Kate.
I'm Bradley.
And this is History Buffoon.
The origin of weird.
That's right. That's what this one is.
I think you almost forgot.
No.
Don't, no lies.
No lies. We have...
You might hear some background noise from our little guests. They will not officially be on the podcast, but this is the first time that we're recording at my house since the kitties have been here.
Yeah, Stella and Sal.
So we brought them up to the pod loft to hang out while we record some podcasts.
It's all new smells to them, so they are on the prowl.
Yeah, so this, the pod loft, which also is the guest room area as well with a bathroom. They have not been up here before.
Yeah.
Just about, 10 minutes ago. So this is all new to them. They're exploring.
And Sal's chirpy.
He is very chirpy.
If you hear any chirping, it's probably Sal.
Probably Sal. Right, Sal? He's like, ooh, what's back there?
They don't quite know their names yet, but they're getting there.
They're doing pretty decent though. Like they'll still respond. Like in the morning when I go, Sal, Stella, they'll come out and see me. So actually they used to come out and see me. Now they're just, hey, what's up? So they've adapted really well to new home life. So right, Sal?
Hi, buddy. You got something on your whiskers.
Cobweb. It's like, okay.
Come here.
Anyways.
Okay, so
yes.
We have an event to talk about.
All right.
The 1908 Tunguska event.
What's a Tunguska?
It is it's actually a place.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, so on June 30th, 1908,
yes,
remote hills of the Tunguska River in Siberia.
Oh.
Reindeer herders.
Yeah.
I think they call them caribou if they're...
Most places.
Yeah, caribou.
Yeah.
And a few Russian settlers. Not a lot. There's not a lot of population up there.
Not in Siberia. It's pretty cold up there.
They began their day, just like any other day, June 30th. And around 7:17 a.m., without warning,
okay,
the northern sky split apart with a blinding flash of light.
Interesting. At 7 in the morning, you said?
7:17. Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay.
Eyewitnesses described a bluish-white fireball brighter than the sun streaking across the sky and leaving a trail of light.
Interesting.
One local trader sitting on his porch about 40 miles away saw the sky split in two as a massive fireball appeared above the forest.
Okay.
In an instant, an intense wave of heat blasted him, and he says, quote, "as if my shirt was on fire."
Oh, dear.
Seconds later, a huge explosion knocked him off his feet.
Because there's a meteor?
Potentially.
Okay.
And a shockwave shattered windows and shook buildings for hundreds of miles around.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So for those closer to the epicenter, it was a little bit more apocalyptic, if you will.
Sure, I would imagine so.
Indigenous hunters camping near the blast were blown into the air and knocked unconscious.
Jesus.
Their tents and their trees around them were incinerated.
Right.
And two brothers later recounted that a wind and a loud whistling woke them. Then a wall of heat and force flung one of them into the campfire as the ground trembled.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like an earthquake.
I mean, it sounds like a meteorite hit the earth.
Yeah. So they heard a sequence of 5 enormous booms as if thunder had hit the earth.
Okay.
And saw the forest around them ignite.
Interesting.
A pillar of fire rose high into the atmosphere, casting a red glow across the horizon.
Okay.
Moments later, a series of bangs like artillery fire occurred and accompanied by shock waves powerful enough to flatten forests and level buildings.
Interesting.
Okay. The few residents in this like sparsely populated area were tossed around by the force of the blast, and some described them feeling like it was an earthquake.
Right. Is there still snow in June in Siberia where this is?
I don't know.
I wonder. Because, I mean, it's a pretty cold place in the winter, obviously.
But it is midsummer. Well, it's our summer. I don't know about Siberia.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what that is in terms of that, because it isn't like our winter, Australia's summer kind of thing and so on. So it could be a little different. I'm not sure. But that also could be, they're in the northern hemisphere, so maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, I mean, I've been to Colorado in July and there's snow on the mountaintops. So
right.
I don't know. Maybe.
Depends on how high above sea level it is.
That, and I'm sure how much snow they got the year before or the previous winter kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know.
So as quickly as it came, the fiery sky went dark and eerie silence fell over the forest. So local people would venture out after the blast, and they were met with kind of a weird scene.
Sure.
The forest had been obliterated.
Oh, dear.
Surveys would show that approximately 2,150 square kilometers, or 830 square miles of forest was completely flattened.
That is a lot of forest flattened.
About 500,000 acres.
Holy crap.
An estimated 80 million trees lay on the ground, charred and pointing upward from the central impact zone.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So if there's an impact zone, wouldn't that lead you to believe a meteor?
Just wait.
Oh, alien ship.
Potentially.
Oh, Jesus. Stella, what do you think?
So for miles in every direction, trees had been scorched and knocked down like matchsticks.
Yeah.
Closer to the epicenter, explorers later found trees that remained standing upright, but were stripped bare of their branches and bark as if the blast just like sandblasted the area.
Sure.
These branchless trunks were called telegraph poles.
Well, yeah, back in 1908, right?
Yeah. And that marked kind of ground zero. You hear the chirping?
Hi, Chirpy Sal.
Hi, Sal.
Hey, buddy. He's like, I don't know what's happening. There's my sister.
So a few scattered reports trickled out from Siberia in the days after the event. In villages hundreds of kilometers away, residents felt a powerful tremor and heard series of thunderous sounds rolling across the countryside.
Okay.
Windows shattered as far as 60 kilometers away or 37 miles away.
That's a pretty good distance.
And a hot wind would rush through settlements, flinging people to the ground.
Because it caught them off guard kind of thing?
Yeah.
A hot wind sounds fucking terrible right now.
It does.
Because it's really warm up here.
Yeah.
I'll try and not fall asleep.
Please don't. So, because the region of Tunguska was so isolated hundreds of miles from major cities, news of the disaster was pretty obscure.
Right.
There was no official investigation or immediate rescue effort or anything like that.
Okay.
The event was so remote that it had very little attention in Tsarist Russia, and only like very sparse notices in the local newspapers at the time.
Sure.
So authorities had no clear idea what happened. Some speculated it might have been a mining accident or an eruption of a distant volcano. So many of the indigenous community turned to folklore.
Of course.
They believe the explosion was the wrath of Agdi, the god of thunder, who had smashed the forest and cursed the land. And for years afterwards, the indigenous population and other locals avoided the blast zone, considering it haunted.
Or like bad luck kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So seismic instruments in Russia and Europe registered the event as if it were an earthquake, which had a magnitude around 5.0.
That's pretty good size.
Atmospheric pressure waves ripped around the globe. Observatories in Germany, Denmark, Croatia, Great Britain and even Batavia and Washington, D.C. recorded disturbances in the air.
Mm-hmm.
In the night skies of Europe and Asia, a strange glow appeared for several nights after June 30th. Night skies were bright to the point where people in London could read their newspapers outdoors at midnight without a lamp.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
All the way in London?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Despite the ferocity of the blast,
Yeah.
confirmed human casualties were fairly few. Because the area was so sparsely populated, it was believed that maybe 2-3 people might have died.
Okay.
Indigenous nomads might have been killed near the epicenter, but there was no official report of that, so we actually don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know how they would even probably be able to get those numbers.
Yeah.
Because of what happened, and if it obliterated trees and whatnot, I'm sure that if there was people right there at the epicenter,
for sure,
they would have been also obliterated. So
what was obliterated, other than the trees, were the hundreds, if not thousands, of reindeer grazing in the forest.
Yeah, I figured that was coming back into play.
Yeah. Their carcasses were found burnt, blown apart.
That's wild.
So if there was a city right there, it would have been pretty much a total loss of life.
Yeah, it would have been destroyed.
Yeah, I'm going to take a drink.
No worries. I mean, it's unfortunate that all those reindeer had to, I don't know, lose their life.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of good meat gone. Is caribou / reindeer, is that venison too?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
I don't know.
You should ask Nathan. Maybe he'll know. He's the outdoorsy type.
He's the venison guy.
He's the venison guy.
I'm going to ask.
Chippy?
Yeah, ChatGPT. ChatGPT,
What up,
aka Chippy. Is venison
is what meat? What is reindeer meat called?
Hello.
So Sal is currently climbing in one of the cubbies of the table. It's all I can see is his tail. And he looks really cute. There he is.
That's so cute.
What'd you find? What nonsense are you doing? I think I found some popcorn.
Sounds like you've got
What was that?
I think that was Chippy trying to answer my question.
Okay, we don't need volume on him.
Okay, Chippy. Is caribou / reindeer the same as venison?
in a culinary sense, related but not exactly the same. Venison is a general term for the meat of any kind of deer. Caribou and reindeer are both types of deer, so their meat can be considered venison. But if you want to get a bit more specific, sometimes people just call it caribou or reindeer meat. In short, venison can include caribou, but venison is the broader category.
Okay. And
That's enough.
That's enough.
That was a disappointing answer. But you can also just call it caribou or reindeer meat. Well, no kidding. You can call it deer meat too if you want.
Okay, so for years, this event remained an enigma largely forgotten by the outside world. Russia was engulfed in World War I, leaving very little energy to Siberian exploration.
Yeah, which totally makes sense.
So it wasn't until the 1920s that the scientific world turned its attention to Tunguska.
Okay.
And remember, there wasn't, because of their folklore, the locals didn't go near there.
Correct. So it was pretty much left
as
alone.
Is. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Leonid Kulik, a Soviet mineralogist, and meteorite researcher.
Okay.
He actually stumbled upon some references to the 1908 quote unquote meteorite fall. Lord. So Kulik convinced the Soviet Academy of Sciences to fund an expedition.
Okay.
He wanted a chance to recover valuable meteorite iron.
Sure.
So in 1921, he set off into the wilds of Siberia and found the impact site, but the forest was vast and pretty inaccessible.
Mm-hmm.
Kulik's first attempt failed to even reach the blast zone area due to spring thaws and swampy terrain and exhaustion. So that kind of answers the question a little bit.
Probably not
it
a lot
can
of snow.
melt, So in 1927, nearly 19 years after the event, Kulik finally reached ground zero.
All right.
He wrote in his journal that, quote, one has an uncanny feeling when one sees 20 to 30-inch giant trees snapped across like twigs.
I bet.
In every direction.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the expedition gazed over like this pattern of devastation that looked like a huge oval. They called it like butterfly shaped, but it's more like oval shaped.
Okay.
But it, the flattened forest basically spanned about 50 kilometers across.
Wow. So,
trees pointed away from the central area, indicating an explosive blast high above. So when Kulik reached what he calculated to be the epicenter, he was puzzled because there was no crater.
Really?
Really.
Interesting.
At ground zero, he found an expanse of marshy ground where upright tree trunks stood still, charred, and limbless.
Okay.
So if it was a fireball had exploded in the air directly above, scorching the treetops and stripping the bark, but the downward blast had pressed outward rather than gouging a hole in the earth. So the solid ground had been like heaved outward in giant waves, like waves in water, essentially.
Yeah, like you drop a water in water.
Yes.
And it goes outward. Yeah.
So no impact crater at all was found.
Right.
So over the weeks, Kulik's team surveyed and mapped the pattern of the destruction.
Wow.
They saw signs of intense heat, charred tree stumps and spheres of melted resin on pine trees. They cut cross sections of trees, noting that the growth rings virtually stopped after 1908. That was my phone.
I'd like it to be known on the record that my phone is silent. Just saying.
Hoping to find meteor fragments, Kulik focused on numerous small crater-like bogs in the area, suspecting that they might be hiding pieces of the object.
Sure.
His team drained the bogs, digging for meteoric iron, and they found nothing.
Interesting.
They found like a drowned tree stump in one bog.
Which is nothing.
Despite the searches in 1927 and on return expeditions in 29 and 1930, Kulik never found a sizable piece of meteorite or definitive impact crater.
Okay.
So his photographs of the trees at the epicenter and the miles of tree fall captured global attention at this time.
Right.
The Tunguska mystery began to filter into Western scientific discussions in the 1930s.
Okay.
There was evidence of the immense explosion, likely from the sky, but obviously there was no crater or meteor debris.
Right.
So Kulik himself became convinced that whatever hit Tunguska must have exploded in midair.
Oh.
Yes. And in 1938, on his last visit, Kulik even conducted an aerial survey, taking hundreds of photographs from a low-flying plane to chart the full extent of the devastation.
Okay.
The aerial views confirmed the blast pattern and helped later researchers calculate the trajectory and force of the explosion.
Isn't it wild that 30 years later you can still basically see what happened?
I know.
I mean, you would think most things like regrow and like it'd be overgrown again, but apparently that did not happen here.
Not here, no.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So World War II cut short the investigations.
Understandable.
Kulik volunteered to fight in 1941 and died in a POW camp in 1942.
Oh, that's sad.
Then Tunguska site lay untouched again for decades.
I say for a while, I bet. Okay.
Yes. So they over years, Soviet expeditions and internal researchers continued to study Tunguska.
Mm-hmm.
They collected soil and tree samples, finding unusual tiny like silicate and magnetite spheres
Okay.
embedded in the soil and resin, as well as elevated levels of nickel. Okay.
Can you please silence your phone? Jesus Christ.
I never had this much activity on my phone. So they collected soil and tree samples, finding silicate and magnetite spheres embedded in the soil and resin,
Okay.
as well as elevated levels of nickel and other materials,
Yeah.
hinting at possible extraterrestrial origin.
I mean, meteorite.
Yes.
I mean, wouldn't a meteorite kind of fall under that purview, or?
So, despite strong scientific consensus,
Yeah.
Tunguska's nature invited wild theories and explanations over the years,
I'm sure.
especially because there was no impact crater.
That is a weird aspect of
Yes.
it, obviously.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if anything, let's say it is a meteor, it would have had to explode right above the ground
Yes.
at the just right time. And something, if it's got any type of size like that, is hitting the ground.
Yes.
Because something would have to make it explode. And
Right.
could it have the pressure of the air, something weird, way more science than I know? Maybe, but that doesn't seem likely, at least in my opinion. But again, I'm no scientist, so.
So, Nikola Tesla was trying to invent a death ray. He was experimenting with massive electrical transmissions in New York,
Mm-hmm.
attempting to send power through the air.
Yeah.
And according to this theory, Tesla had developed a powerful directed energy weapon called the death ray. And on the night of June 30th, 1908, he tested it by sending a beam toward the Arctic, but overshot the target and blasted Siberia instead.
From New York?
Mm-hmm.
That seems unlikely.
No evidence, of course.
Of course.
Tesla's transmissions were high voltage, but they could not deliver the kinetic energy of 10 million tons of TNT.
Yeah, that's where you lost me instantly with that theory, because no.
And of course, the next theory is aliens.
Bradley's favorite theory.
The third one, because we're not going to talk about that, mini black hole.
Oh, that's way more believable than aliens. No.
In the 1970s, some physicists speculated that Tunguska might have been the result of a micro black hole passing through Earth.
Passing through Earth.
Mm-hmm.
How does a black hole just pass through a planet?
A tiny primordial black hole left over from the Big Bang zoomed through our planet, entering the atmosphere over Siberia, and then exited out the other side, possibly in the North Atlantic. But of course, there was no second explosion, which they would have had an exit. They would have had an exit strategy, I guess.
An exit wound?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen.
No, that doesn't seem likely at all.
So the consensus is that on June 30th, 1908, a small asteroid,
Yes.
roughly 50 to 60 meters in diameter, entered Earth's atmosphere at high speed, blazing across the morning sky. And around 5 to 10 kilometers above the ground, the combination of pressure and heat caused the space rock to explode in an airburst,
That's what I said.
releasing its energy in a massive blast wave before it ever hit the Earth.
Okay. See, that seems more believable.
Mm-hmm. The airburst is estimated to have released on the order of 10 to 30 megatons of energy,
Wow.
equivalent to 100 Hiroshima atomic bombs. detonating at once.
That's crazy. That's a lot.
Yes.
Wow.
It is also comparable to the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens.
Oh, good old Helen.
Good old Helen. So, they also said that at an altitude of around 5 miles or 8 kilometers, the combination of pressure and heat caused it to fragment violently.
Okay.
Dumping energy equivalent of that 10 to 30 megaton blast.
Sure.
And then that scenario would pretty much match the butterfly or the oval blast footprint.
Okay.
In a 2013 study, scientists analyzed soil and peat samples from Tunguska and found microscopic inclusions of minerals like iron sulfide and iron-nickel alloy embedded in fragments of resin and wood.
Okay.
While not definitive, this evidence tilts towards an asteroid rather than like a comet or anything else.
I feel like if it was an actual comet, it would have destroyed the Earth.
Potentially.
Comets are pretty big. I mean, I'm not, again, no expert, so I'm probably wrong by saying that. But in my brain, I feel like if a comet hit us, fuck, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But a meteorite, sure, that could definitely happen. I mean, it's happened in the past, but I don't know. That's way more believable than aliens.
So, over the years,
Yeah.
there was speculation that perhaps a fragment of the object did survive and hit the ground.
Okay.
In 2007, a team of Italian researchers proposed that Lake Checo, a small round lake located about 8 kilometers northwest of the epicenter,
Okay.
might be the impact crater from a surviving chunk of the meteor.
Really?
They noted that Lake Checo is unusually deep and cone-shaped, with sediment layers suggesting it formed around the time of the event.
Really? Interesting.
Acoustic surveys showed a possible dense object under the lake's bottom.
Oh.
However, subsequent Russian investigators in 2017 refuted this hypothesis by showing that Lake Checo's sediment layers indicate an older origin.
Oh, really?
Well before 1908.
Gotcha. Okay.
Moreover, impact physics make it unlikely that a meteorite would remain intact enough for an airburst to carve out a neat crater.
Yeah,
So ultimately, it disintegrated in midair.
when it exploded or
Yes.
whatever. Okay.
So the Tunguska event is the largest cosmic impact event in recorded history. No other known natural explosion on Earth has matched its scales since humans have been recording things.
Which has been 5 years or so before that?
Tunguska was a wake-up call because for much of the 20th century, Tunguska was often dismissed as a once-in-a-million fluke.
Okay.
But in February 2013, a 20-meter asteroid exploded in the atmosphere over Chelyabinsk, Russia, injuring over 1,000 people with its shock wave.
Why have we heard of Chelyabinsk before? What was that in?
We talked about that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Was that in the
Was that-
Krakatoa?
Was that but it's in Russia.
Oh, what was
So
that?
would that be Dyatlov?
Oh, maybe it was Dyatlov.
Because we've said
We've
that place
talked about
before.
the February 2013 meteor.
Yeah.
So that meteor, though smaller than Tunguska, produced a blast about 1/30th as powerful. And suddenly Tunguska was not just like historical curiosity. It was an event that might reckon with the future.
Sure.
So governments and space agencies have established programs to discover and track near-Earth objects called NEOs.
Interesting.
And that could pose a threat.
Yeah.
So NASA formed its Planetary Defense Coordination Office in 2016
I remember hearing about that, yeah.
to coordinate detection of potentially hazardous asteroids and develop strategies to deflect or evacuate if one is on a collision course.
Well, yeah, they need to come up with new strategies because, unfortunately, Bruce Willis has his thing going on. He can't go up there and drill a hole anymore.
In the asteroid, he can't.
That's sad. I really feel bad for Bruce Willis. I love Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And the shit he's going through, that's got to be hard on him and his family.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we got to find other ways to drill.
In 2022, NASA even tested a prototype asteroid deflection mission, the DART spacecraft, by successfully altering the orbit of a small asteroid, a direct response to the kind of threat Tunguska represented. The date June 30th, the anniversary of Tunguska, has been designated International Asteroid Day by the United Nations. A day of awareness about asteroid impacts and what we can do to prevent them.
So it's like, look to the sky? I mean, what the hell? Okay.
So each year on that day, scientists and educators around the world remind the world of Tunguska's lesson.
Right.
The cosmos is not a silent void. Sometimes it strikes without warning.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit floating out there. A lot of shit that we don't know about, too, so that's crazy.
That is the Tunguska event of 1908.
I have never heard of that before.
Me either.
That is wild.
Yeah.
And weird, because, I mean,
no crater. Everything
leads you to believe it's some type of meteorite event that, again, and that's kind of what I said, not so eloquently, but it could have had messed with the pressure or whatever of the atmosphere and then blew up right above, because if it shockwaved that out, I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense, especially with no crater. So it's just wild that nothing has grown back there.
Mm-hmm.
That's also really weird.
That is weird.
Because even over time, 17 years, wouldn't you think stuff would be, I'm sure there's some things maybe, but all the trees are still fucked and whatever.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
Yeah.
But, welp.
I suppose.
All right, buffoons. That's it for today's episode.
Buckle up, because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore?
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com. We are Bradley and Kate. Music by Corey Akers.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.